Hey guys, we are live. If you're just now joining, we just now started the live stream, so you're not in some kind of time warp. We did not do the live stream at 10 a.m. this morning as per schedule, or what our typical schedule would have been, because we lost internet over here in this area. We had a lot of high winds. We had a tornado not far from us last week. I think that was on Thursday, and maybe that was Wednesday night, Thursday night, something like that. And then today we had some more high winds. So I'm guessing some of those trees probably fell and hit some power lines maybe again today. Who knows? But anyway, we're back up, and it's 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So what I'm excited about, though, other than drawing, that's going to be exciting, obviously. It's always fun to draw with you, and I hope that you're doing okay, that you're exercising whatever freedoms you have while observing your shelter-in-place order, or your stay-at-home order, or your quarantine orders, or your whatever they're calling it in your part of the world or in your state. But I've got an exciting thing, kind of exciting thing to announce, I think, and that is that I'm going to go ahead and start doing a live stream. We'll still do the 10 o'clock on Monday mornings, but I also want to add one at 5 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and we'll do that from now until, and we're going to do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 to 6 on whatever platform you would like of those three, and I'm just going to call it our stay in place live stream, and we're just going to start doing that until we have this ban lifted on us and we're no longer in quarantine. So maybe that'll help somebody out. We'll see. But anyway, I'm excited about that because I've got some projects that I would like to do with you, and I think it'll be a lot of fun just to do those live. So hopefully you can join and be a part of that and participate. All right, so we're going to take a look at this drawing, and I think we're going to go ahead. I'm just trying to separate out my pencils here a little bit, so we're going to get done with this one sooner than what I was thinking, probably, especially now that we'll be working on it more. I keep threatening to finish it and then show you the finished piece later on, but I've not done that, right? Obviously. Okay, so here's the thing. So at this point, this is where a few years ago, I would have said, "Okay, I'm done with everything. Now all I got to do is the hair," and then I would just rush over to the hair, fire that in real quick, and call it done. And for me, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I should have taken a little more time, a little more care, and figured out, how to make this look a little bit better. So I decided that, there's some areas in here where I could just enhance some of the transition from light to dark. And so that's what I'm trying to do there. Maria is over on YouTube Live. Hey, Maria, how are you? Good to see you over there. Thanks for joining. Very cool. All right. Let me know if you can hear me okay. If you guys can't hear me very well, then I'll turn this up. But so we're in this middle transition area, and this is one of those areas that I like to talk about quite a bit, where I call it, just this power of middle values. It's this area where, when you look at something and you say, okay, I've got the strong contrast going on. I know where the separation in the light and the dark is. And what I used to do is I would just say, okay, I'm done then with that, and I'll just move along. But what I started looking at is that there are some little tiny nuances that I can sort of capitalize on, I can enhance. And if I do that, if I just take my time and I start focusing on the middle values, then that's where realism starts to enhance the overall look and feel. I really feel like that is what will separate something from looking representational and actually making it look real, making it look, just as realistic as it can. Am I there yet? No, not with this drawing, and probably not with any of my drawings, any of my body of work that I've completed so far. But that's always my goal, is to get better and better at those middle values, Thanks, Maria. Loud and clear. Good. Hope I'm not too loud. All right, so let's do this. I was making those separations and just trying to put in some of that brighter pink in certain areas. Did that on the ridge of the nose there, where that separation starts to begin, right there at that highest pinnacle, really, down here at the base of the nose. I did that over here on the forehead as well. As I started looking at that forehead, I started thinking that I needed to push that shadow down just a little bit more than what it is. And so I think an effective way of doing that would be to use this this burnt ochre and just start pushing this down just a little bit. Burnt ochre 10% is what I'm using here. Now, it's not going to matter a whole lot. Pushing it just a little tiny bit here and there is fine. But if I'm not careful, and if I don't pay a lot of attention to where the shadow begins, then what can end up happening is I can end up making the head look a little more elongated than what it should be, if that makes sense. I can make it can distort the actual dimensions of the head. I don't want to do that, obviously. Hey, Peggy Osborne over there on Facebook Live. Thanks for joining today. And as always, you guys can ask any questions if you have any, certainly. And I'll try to draw while I talk and ask and answer questions. I'm not as good at that, obviously. If you've watched any of these, you know I'm not as good at that. I get pretty focused on what I'm doing, but I'm learning. I'm getting better. I won't get better if you don't ask questions, right? So you got to test me. This is nearly like a reset for me. I feel like we're back at 10 a.m. in the morning nearly. I mean, it's like I was just here not that long ago, and then I just worked really hard on the connection, the Restream connection, the API connection over there on YouTube. Took an inordinate amount of time to get all that figured out and worked out, but oh well. And what happened, I started looking at it and I thought, okay, maybe what I could do is I could switch to StreamYard instead of using Restream. Not that you guys care about all this technology, but it was just, I played around with these toys way too long today and researched way too much of this. I'm like, oh my word, this is the last thing I really want to do. I just actually want to draw today, and was not able to do that until now. So, like I said, it feels like a sort of a reset here. Like when I'm picking up the mug, I nearly expect to taste coffee, but that's not what I'm drinking right now. So this is kind of weird. It's like, whoa. It's not 10 o'clock. It's in the early evening for me. For some of you, I know that's not the case. For Maria, I guess it's probably about, 1 o'clock, something like that. Maybe 2, I'm not sure. Okay. So that pushed it down just a little bit. I can come back in there with a little bit stronger value and tone for that shadow. And I don't have to do that right away, so. Hey, Sergio Man, have not seen you in a little while as well. Very cool. Thanks for joining us here. Your pencils look about the same, huh? Like half-eaten? That's what I feel like mine are. It's like, whoa, where did they go? I try not to think about that, You try not to do the math in your head and calculate how much of the pencil you're expending, and you're like, okay, I got to replace that one, got to replace this one. Yeah, I get it, Maria. She's saying that she wished she would have been able to draw today. She wanted to, had too much to do. Yeah, know the feeling. Oh, Alan, my brother in the flesh, Alan is on. For those that don't know, I've got a ton of brothers. Sometimes I lose count. No, I'm just kidding. So I've got 7 brothers and 2 sisters. We're all we're not halves or steps or any of that. We're all full-blooded brothers and sisters. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Now, set that aside. I don't know if this helps or not, but I'm trying to give you a camera over here on my materials. So, if I'm trying to show you. I know it's kind of a mess though, but I'm trying to show you the pencils that I'm using at least. And I don't know if you can see this. I'll hold it up to the camera, but here's some of the pencils that have broken within the last couple of months, I guess. I don't know if you guys do that and collect them like that, but Sergi, man. Sergi, man, making a big order, huh? So, did you get some masks in that order as well? You're talking about replacement blades. I never have done that. I never have been able to replace any of those helical blades. But that's something I always think it's funny how these companies will talk about how you can replace the helical blade, but then there's never really a good process for doing that, and they don't actually sell the helical blade replacements that I'm ever aware of, not on the ones that I'm interested in. Okay. So if you are just now joining, I'll go ahead and say it again that I'm kind of excited. We're going to be doing a shelter-in-place live stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm going to have some different projects we're going to work on. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, the time will be 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and I'm excited about sharing that with you. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 24 set of the Derwent Lightfast pencils on some portrait projects. Derwent is actually going to sponsor my next release of the face value course, and they're actually going to be raffling off some 24 sets for new students over there. So that's exciting. And there's pencils in that set that I think just work really well for portraits. So we're going to be showing how you can actually do that. Just use the 24 set of the Derwent Lightfast pencils to be able to create portraits and some of the features of the face using that set of pencils. So I think we can sometimes overcomplicate it, and by we I mean me. I can use way too many pencils sometimes, and you don't have to do that. So I'm kind of excited about that. Okay. Yeah, Maria, I know you come from a big family too, so you know what it's like. Cool. Yeah, if you're able to make it, Maria, that would be awesome. Maria has, I don't know if if you're on the live stream today, and you're not familiar with Maria's work, and there may be others as well, but Maria is relatively new to drawing a lot in colored pencil, but has quickly just become very proficient in and just excellent at what she does with colored pencils, and many other artists that I'm familiar with who have, they just started recently, and I'm just so impressed with that when somebody can just quickly learn how to use colored pencils. I guess because it took me so long to figure it out. I don't know. It felt like to me it just took a long time, but that's just the way it goes sometimes, I guess. But yeah, I'm just always impressed with that. And there's a lot of students that I'm familiar with right now that they're just doing fantastic work, and they're fearless, and they just churn out work. They just get work done quickly, and that's a good recipe for success. Brenda Matson is one of those artists as well. The list goes on and on. Ramona, I mean, she can do a portrait probably in a couple of days. So it's just impressive, and I could list a whole bunch of artists that, I'm afraid to start naming a lot of names. I'll forget somebody accidentally, but anyway, I've always just been impressed with that. And I think there's just something cool about getting past the fear, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're an artist, you know what I'm talking about. There's some kind of fear inside of us when we start drawing and putting our work out there. Even if we don't put our work out there, we're still showing it to family once in a while and things like that, at the very least. And there's just something about getting to that point where you're able to start, at least saying, this is my work, this is what I've done, and being proud of it. And so it's really, really an impressive thing to see that in others. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go a little bit higher over there. All right. You see what happens when I talk. I shouldn't have done that. That went up a little bit too high, I feel like. There we go. Okay, we can come back in there later and fix that a little bit more. But for right now, I think that's okay. Just want to hit that back and forth with this darker value here. Burnt sienna, I think this is 50%. Just go back and forth just a little bit. And there was something about that angle of the nose that I wasn't liking before. I was going to look at that when I got back around here to it. And I don't see it at the moment. I guess it's okay. There we go. We get that darker separation there in the value, and it can start to look just a little bit better because it'll allow the nose, that feature of the face, to pop just a little bit more, which is what we want. And then I need that nostril then to be a darker value than the crease in the cheek over here. Otherwise, it's too much of a competing value. That does need to be darker. Why? Because that's a darker area, right? So what should I do? I think I'll add just a little tiny bit of indigo. There we go. That way I'll have a darker value right there. Okay. Maria. Maria says, I don't see how you can talk and draw at the same time. I wouldn't be able to, she would get distracted, wouldn't be able to concentrate. She's over on YouTube Live for those that may be on Facebook. So while I appreciate the compliment, you probably noticed I can't speak very well when I'm drawing. So I'm trying. So Sergi Man says, I have to admit I haven't been on YouTube much. Staying home, jobless, I delved into Stephen King audiobooks and fueled my desire to become a color pencil portrait artist. Oh my, I am so sorry to hear about that, Sergi Man, if that's affecting you financially right now. That's awful. It's the global pandemic is affecting a lot of people. I feel so bad about that. Affecting a lot of people in some very detrimental ways. It's awful. The old company that I used to work for, Macy's corporate office in Cincinnati. I mean, other than the fact that they were closing down anyway, that particular office, they have support offices in different places as well. But anyway, they are furloughing just a ton of workers right now. And so it's awful. Now they'll probably be able to draw unemployment, but that makes you wonder about the future. It makes you wonder, about, where your next check is coming from. How you're gonna eat and pay rent or your mortgage or whatever. So it's very serious, and my heart goes out to those people affected in that way. It's very scary. But Sergio, man, it sounds like you're at least able to distract yourself a little bit with some Stephen King novels. And, sometimes distraction is a good thing, right? I think. Sometimes when you're powerless over something, we control what we can control, right? And then the rest of it, sometimes we we just can't control. I keep grabbing this lighter pencil. I need to stop doing that. It's not, that pencil's not the answer. I keep thinking it is, and it's still not. And I grabbed another lighter pencil. Okay. Need to stop doing that. Sometimes there needs to be a little buzzer on pencils once in a while, like, just shock you when you grab it. Maybe not. That's a little violent. Okay. This does need to go down just a little bit right in there. And then I need a darker value. This one. There's the one I was looking for. To come down here. See, I'm trying to grab. There's a little... let me see if I can show you this. There's just a little... We can zoom in here, I guess, since we're working in that nose area. But there's a little... Oh, that's good to hear, Sergi, man. That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. What I'm trying to do is capture this. Whoops, it just marked on it. Capture that little tiny bit right there under the septum, because it starts reversing. It starts going back in the other direction right there. And that sometimes, being able to capture some of those little details like that sometimes helps you to understand that that's that person. If we leave it out, it could make it look kind of odd, if we left it out. So looking at that a little closer, then this needs to come down just a little bit. And then that portion that comes back I think it can be illustrated with that. I think I can say it with this pencil, this tone right here. Yeah. And then I want to push this up in that direction. And refine that just a little bit. And then remind myself, make a mental note to myself, I did that. I worked on that. John, leave it alone now and move along to other areas and stop messing with it. You guys ever get like that where you just keep messing with something over and over again? And like sometimes you just have to remind yourself, okay, I already did that. Leave that part alone. Don't keep coming back to it. Okay, now there is that nice little bit of light right in there. And right over here. There we go. There we go. Right there. That's a little bit better. And there's a little bit of this lighter area right there on the edge. I know that bothers people sometimes when you do that. When you make a little bit brighter area on the edge, they're like, it looks like an outline. Sometimes that's what kind of what you want. Sometimes a little bit doesn't always bother me if I got an outline. I don't know what voice that was I just used though for somebody. Sergi man says John's a wise man. Oh my goodness. Don't try to embarrass me here, Sergi man. It's not hard to do. All right. So if I'm using this lighter color, the thing is, it's only going to look lighter if I am separating it with those darker values, So Sergio Man is asking, what are my opinions on the Derwent Lightfast white pencil? It's fine. I don't use it all that often. Yeah, no doubt, Maria. I was just seeing what Maria was typing about overworking things and being able to just slow down. Yeah, no doubt. But Sergio, man, as far as that white is concerned, I don't use just pure white a whole lot for for just a lot of highlights or leaning something back in another direction. I mean, I do use white once in a while, but what I noticed with the Derwent Lightfast is I'm not using the white in that one as often, and the reason is because they've got all those other great colors, very, very faint colors like oyster, what is it, light aqua, I believe, and let me see if I have some of them around here. Arctic, that's another one. That Arctic is just such a great pencil. So you just have these little tonal shifts in bluish color and a pinkish color. And I think that's exciting to be able to use some of those brighter colors that look kind of like white. Yeah, do you like the Arctic color? I mean, I think it's a good one. An oyster. Apparently, I mean, I held these two up. I think you can see. Apparently, I like those a lot because they're nearly gone. So, but those are great pencils. The white is probably around here somewhere. I just don't see it at the moment. And it's a good pencil, but there's just so many other good options as well. Okay, I'm going to lay these pinks down for a moment. I want to work on those darker mid-range values a little bit. Sometimes, though, that's what I see is that a piece is missing. It's just the dark mid-range value, or the lighter mid-range value, I should say. Ah, yeah, Sergio, man. I would have to agree that that champagne color is a great one. That is one of the best. Wheat, the color wheat in Derwent Lightfast is also very close to that one as well. Let me see. I mean, it's a little bit darker, a little more yellow, but if you hold them up together, you can see they're very, very close. Wheat and champagne. So yeah, very good pencils. Love those. Okay, now, this is an exciting thing right here, where at the edge of that nose, right here at the corner there, the ala, what we're able to do with that is I could make this darker right here. A little bit darker. That's just one of those little cheats, I like to call it. It's not really cheating, but you know what I mean. You can get away with doing that, and it in a subtle way. I don't mean just going to town and just using black in there. I'm not talking about that at all. But you can use a darker value, and like the sepia, I think might work well. Yeah, and it will sort of make all those brighter values, like in the nose there, just kind of pop, and in a good way. It's not going to. It's going to be subtle. It's not going to just be like, whoa, very dramatic or anything like that. But it will give you enough value separation in here. Ah, very cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Using that for vintage kind of pieces. Sergi Man's talking about. Very, very cool. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, a little bit darker right up there next to where that edge is. And the reason why that's a fun thing to do is because now I can just, in a very subtle way, move this into a little bit lighter value down below as we approach and get closer to the mouth or the lips. 'Cause I don't want that to be overpowering, but I think you can see that. And even though this part of the cheek was pretty dark a while ago, it's a little bit lighter now. You know. Oh, thanks, Sergi, man. Appreciate that. Hey, Ramona is over there on Facebook Live. Thanks for joining. All right. I was teasing everybody earlier about no, it's not 10 o'clock in the morning. I was nearly confusing myself because this is the exact position I would have been in at 10 o'clock in the morning. So, but no internet. It was so frustrating. I think some of those larger limbs and/or larger trees that got blown over from strong winds and the tornadoes that came through here, I think that they probably just blew over and affected some of the power lines. I'm not sure. Yes. Yeah, you're exactly right, Maria. Getting that darker around the nose there, the base of the nose, it does make it have that 3D look. You're exactly right. Yeah, I do want to use the Derwent Lightfast pencils, but we're not going to just do the Lightfast pencils exclusive. Well, it depends on how long we're going to be in this shelter-in-place position, right? But I do want to use those a little bit. I don't know. Maybe you guys have a better sense of how much longer we're going to be on this shelter-in-place order, because I want to do the live streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 to 6, every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, while we're in this shelter-in-place. But I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be doing that. I'll have to change the name if I keep doing it, I guess, because I'm going to call it Shelter-in-Place live streams. So maybe we can still do them. We'll just call them something different. I don't know. I don't think we'll be doing them after, not as frequently as that after the shelter-in-place order has been lifted, but I don't know. I try not to watch the news, but I have to watch it a little bit right now, I feel like, or keep up with it just a little bit. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, let's do a poll. What do you guys think? How long do you think we'll still be doing this shelter in place? Is it going to be months? Is it going to be, weeks? A few more weeks? I don't know. You guys might know. I don't know. Probably everybody has a better sense of how long this will be than I do, but yeah, I'm not sure. this brighter red down here. There we go. Quarantine. I like that. That's pretty good, Vicky. Vicky, I think that's a suggestion for the live stream. Is that what you're doing over there on Facebook Live? I like that. That sounds pretty good. Quarantine. Yeah. Okay. I'm wondering if I can get away with using a little bit darker value. I think I can. And then go over on top of it. There we go. Okay, now let me look at it. I just want to see what it's looking like. I think that's probably dark enough. And then because that's darker, then this might... I'm laughing at Maria's comment there. That's funny. Yeah, it's just... It's been interesting to see the transformation at my local grocery store here. You know, at first it wasn't anything. It was just everybody walking around scared, I guess. But now it's like, and I try not to go very often, just to be clear. But now they've got plexiglass just about everywhere, and then they've got the workers are wearing masks now. I'm glad they're doing that. I wish that they would have been able to do that a long time ago, but there we go. Yeah, I am excited though about using the Derwent Lightfast pencils exclusively for some portrait work. The 24 set I'm talking about. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I just decided to do that, only because I think it would be... I thought about doing that before, but then after Derwent contacted me and asked me about doing a giveaway for students, then I was even more sure that I wanted to try that just with that 24 set. Okay, yeah, this needs to be quite a bit darker. Looks like I focused way too long on that nose. I mean, it's fine, but I've neglected some of these other features while I was doing that. Let me go back in the other direction here. We'll just keep going for a little bit, though. There we go. Something that we started doing just to do something as a family, and I know every family is different, and everyone's got different things they're probably doing right now. But one of the things we started doing is going on more walks and going on little tiny local drives where we'll drive out into the country in areas around around our area here in Milford and Goshen and Owensville and all of that, and just looking around at different areas that we've just never looked at before. And you're busy doing other things, and then now that you've got all this time, you've got more time to do other things, because you have the same amount of time, yes, but you're not able to do some of the other things that you used to do, and you have new partners all the time. Like my kids are home now constantly, and I don't think they've quite adjusted to that. They forget that just because I'm home, I'm not there to pretend I'm Google for them or something like that. They don't do that often, but I mean, most of the time they're working on their schoolwork. But it does start to get into that kind of mode of operating, I guess you can say, where they start thinking, oh, well, Dad's here, I'll just ask him, blah, blah, blah. And it can be a disruption to everyone's schedule, and just something to contend with, something to figure out. Yeah, Maria, saying, that more people are starting to change and spend more time as a family, which is a good thing, right? I think it is. I think it's a really good thing. Took a global pandemic for some of us, I guess, but to do things like that. Now, those are things that I love anyway, going for a drive in the country. Now my kids are learning to love it. And I didn't have to, that probably sounded like an evil laugh, but I didn't have to force them to do it. They're actually desiring to do things that they used to think was kind of boring. I think it's kind of funny. Oh, man. They're finding out that some of the simple pleasures in life are some of the best things. So, and that is a good thing, I think. Okay, where's that dark pencil? Right in my hand. Do you guys ever do that? You're looking around. If you hold your other pencils in your hand and you look around for the pencil that you were just using a little bit ago, that's the funny thing about it. Sometimes it's right there in your other hand. It's like losing your glasses when they're on your head or something, or your pencil and it's behind your ear. Okay. Move that up. Now, where is, let me see, this guy. Okay. This needs to be overall darker, but I noticed some of those darker values, though, were starting to, in my opinion, change the shape of some of that, and I didn't want that. Okay. Maria. Yeah. It probably did sound like an evil laugh, didn't it? like, all right, kids, going on another drive. Yes, you will like it. You will like it, and you will not say otherwise. I'm just kidding. Let's see here. Well, my oldest daughter, she works. For those that know, if Ramona's still on here, I'm not sure if she is, but because I don't know if people are on here, if they've left or anything until they comment. But she'll know what I'm talking about. There is a pizza, a skyline, a chili part. See, Maria, I cannot talk and draw at the same time. There is a chili parlor. There is a chili restaurant. Cincinnati's known for its chili, and my oldest daughter, she works there. She's a shift manager there at Skyline, and so Ramona's here. So Ramona knows what I'm talking about, and anyway, she's been able to still work. She's still been able to go to work. Now it's changed a lot, obviously. Wow, that eye is so large and this one's so small. I got to fix that. And so that's been good, that she's been able to do that. But it's, it's more of an adjustment for my youngest because her whole life. Yeah. Her, my youngest daughter is, her whole life is totally different right now. Ramona is talking about, there's chocolate in the recipe for Cincinnati style chili. There's also cinnamon and some other things inside there. So it's a different kind of recipe. It's a Greek chili recipe, a Greek sauce. And it's really not, a lot of people, when I was brand new to Cincinnati area and I first tried Skyline, I didn't like it. And I thought, what is that? That is some odd stuff. And if you talk about it as being a sauce rather than a chili, so I always thought of Tex-Mex. I grew up, southwest Oklahoma. So I thought of Tex-Mex, and if you think of that, then you're going to hate Skyline chili. You're going to hate any Cincinnati-style chili. Yeah, exactly. Because Ramona grew up around here, so, La Rosa's Pizza is, that's another one around here. Is a big one. But yeah, I love Skyline now, but it's different. It is not. It's not a Tex-Mex, that's for sure, at all. Okay. What did I do with that pencil? Here it is. Go. Okay. This does need to be a little bit lighter than what it is. I'm going to have to press just a little bit harder than what I did earlier. I want to make sure I get a pinnacle of that area of the cheek. Ramona's saying if I didn't convert, we would have to make you move. That's hilarious. Yeah, and I know some people who have grown up, in this area, and for whatever reason, they just can't stand it. They cannot stand Cincinnati style chili. I'm like, are you crazy? I love it. But yeah, when I share that with anybody, visiting, I try not to make the mistake of telling them that it's, chili, especially if they're around, a Tex-Mex kind of chili where they live. You talk to them more about, hey, it's a Greek style chili. It's more of a sauce, because they pour it over spaghetti noodles, and then they put this grated up cheddar cheese on top, and so it's very different. Even the way it's served, it's very different. Okay. All right, guys. I think we're getting close to a point where we might be able to stop and say we're going to leave that for a moment. And a pound of, yeah, exactly. Pound of cheese is right. It's like that. Actually, my mom, when she first came here and tried Skyline, that was her comment. She said, "Oh wow," she said, "I'm not." She said, "I think they should call it cheesies." So there's so much. 3 pounds of cheese. You guys might be right. It's hilarious. Oh, man. It is a lot of cheese. Okay. Man, I tell you what, when you find something, though, that is, you find the right combination, because it's this constant shifting of values, right, back and forth. And when you find one that is starting to work really well, you don't want to stop. And I found one right now that's working really well, and it's using that 10% burnt ochre 10% up on top of that darker mid-range value, especially over here in the shadow. I think that's working really, really well. Just to give us a hint in the right spot, just to give us that pinnacle there. Wow, you know what? That's one thing you're talking about, Ramona. The price of it, feels like it's gone up a lot. Oh, thank you, Ramona. One thing I keep noticing, well, I'm getting outside of the frame here, but I keep noticing on this chin down here, and I want to correct that before I go, because if I let it go too long, I'll forget it. It'll help if I put it in right now. But just getting that rounded rim, and let me see if I can show this. This is the reference that I'm looking at most of the time, is that one, and then I look at this larger one some of the time too. But I'm looking at that small one because it gives me just the essence of everything, rather than making me hyper focus in one area, which is so much better at this point in the drawing process. But anyway. All right. Well, hey guys, if you're in the Cincinnati area, go have some Skyline. No, seriously, thanks for joining today. Really appreciate it. And again, we're going to be doing a shelter-in-place live stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 5 to 6. And so in the usual spots. And then we'll also do that Monday one from 10 o'clock a.m. And we'll try to just keep doing that until we're off of house arrest, and we're no longer doing this shelter in place. So, but I hope you guys are well and healthy, and hope everyone's doing well. And I will talk to you later. Thanks for joining, and have a great night. Stay sharp. Bye-bye.